Welcome to online learning program of MSBTE, Learning at Your Doorstep. I am Professor Deepak Kulkarni, Head of Electronics and Telecommunication Department from KVM Polytechnic, Mumbai. Welcome you all on the presentation on Digital Factory, in which we will focus on Internet of Things. After completion of this presentation, the learners would be able to understand the principles of IoT and the functions of various elements in IoT system. In this presentation, we will discuss what is IoT working, the functions of various components in IoT, and an example of an IoT implementation. Now let us recall what is an IoT. The Internet of Things, called as an IoT, is the network of physical objects embedded with electronics, softwares, sensors, and network connectivity, which enables these objects to collect and exchange data. The Internet of Things, or IoT, is a system of interrelated computing devices, mechanical and digital machines, objects, animals, or people, which are provided with a unique identifiers and their ability to transfer data over a network without requiring human to human or human to computer interaction. As we can see in the diagram, the IoT working depends on four components. The first component is a sensor. Various sensors are employed or used to measure various parameters, like for example in this diagram we have shown the sensors for motion detection, temperature, light intensity measurement, pressure. Such various physical parameters can be measured by using the sensors. This information is then given to the gateway. The information from gateway is then provided to the cloud or server, and finally that information will be provided to the user either by using a mobile app or by using a website link. Now let us see the first component, that is a sensor. What are sensors? These are the devices which help in collecting very minute data from the surrounding environment. All of this collected data can have a various degrees of complexities. That means it can range from a simple temperature monitoring or any physical parameter monitoring like temperature, pressure, liquid level, or it can be also used for a complex full video feed. A device can also have multiple sensors that are bundled together so that they can do more than just sensing of things. For example, the phone that we are using is a device that has multiple sensors such as GPS, accelerometer, camera. But remember that our phone is not any processing device, it is just sensing the different things. As you can see in this diagram, in the Internet of Things, on the very first level, various sensors can be employed for various different applications. You can see in the diagram there are sensors employed for detection of a speech, detection of audio in smart homes, in video shootings. There are some sensors in mobile phones. Also sensors can be used for detections of messages or email. Also they are used in transportation applications. They are also employed in healthcare centers. So sensors are employed for different applications whose function would be to only gather data and just provide it to the further level. The second component that is being used in the IoT structure would be mainly the connectivity. The data that has been collected from the sensor will be now sent to the cloud infrastructure. But to send it to the cloud infrastructure, we require a proper medium for transport. So various mediums of communications and transport such as cellular networks, satellite networks, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, wide area networks, or even a low power wide area network can be employed. And many more other communication mediums can be also selected. But while selecting a specific connectivity medium, we need to trade off between the power consumption, range, and bandwidth. So choosing or selecting the best connectivity option in IoT system is one of the critical points. At this level, the students now can attempt MCQ set 1. Now the next component or the mechanism done in IoT working is data processing. Once the data has been collected and it is given to the cloud, the software performs the processing on the acquired data. That means some kind of an analysis has been done so that we would be extracting the required information from the data that has been collected by the sensor and given to the cloud, so that we would extract the required information and the processing will be done and it will be notified to the user. What informations it can have? This can range from simple applications like checking the temperature, reading on the devices such as ACs or heaters is within an acceptable range, or it can be sometimes a complex such as identifying objects such as intruders in our house by using a computer vision or on audio and video also. As you can see in this diagram, the three components like sensors, then connectivity and data processing are interrelated to each other. In this figure, we will see how these three components interact with each other. It starts with networked sensors, which will report the status of things, that is devices which is given to data stores. Then further analysis on this data is done, and as per the analysis, the feedback signal is generated by which the devices can be controlled. For example, a heater in any industrial process can be automatically turned on or off as per the data that has been analyzed, so that it will control the entire industrial process and no errors in the process can be done, because nowadays in industries maximum processes are automated, so it would be very critical to control the devices at real time. Once the information is made available to the end user, this is done by user connectivity, which can be achieved by triggering alarms on their phones or notifying through the text or emails. A user sometimes might also have an interface through which they can actively check in on their IoT system. For example, a user can have a camera installed in his house so that he might check the video recordings and all the feeds through a web server from a remote place. If a user detects some changes in the refrigerator operations, then he can adjust the temperature through the mobile phones so that the changes would be rectified. So such kinds of modifications or monitoring the user can do by using the IoT subsystem. One of the typical example which can be implemented in a smart home is being shown in this diagram. As you can see, there are options for selecting a particular room like living room, kitchen, bedrooms, and within the selected room, as you can see in the lower part, various devices can be selected whose states can be monitored and can be controlled as per the requirement. One of the typical example of a living room is being shown, where on the panel it is showing you the current temperature, and based on it the decision is been taken whether the device is to be turned on or off. Okay, so that can be completely under user control. Even though the user is not at its place, even though he is at the remote place, he can sense the parameters of its home, of his house, and control the overall parameters. That means this IoT is used for implementing a smart home also. Now the students can attempt MCQ set 2. So at the end of this presentation, the learners would have got the idea about the various functions of components or elements in IoT, and also in real time how an IoT can be implemented in smart homes technologies. Thank you everyone, and have a smart learning.